This week, the Eagles, Ian Rapoport, got Linval Joseph. They just signed another defensive tackle.
A massive addition, literally massive. The Eagles are signing Ndamukong Suh, the 30-something former Pro Bowler who is still a beast and, of course, was last year, expected to be this year. And as colleague Mike Garafolo has mentioned, he really wanted to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles, have allowed some, I would say, some rushing yards over the last couple weeks. And general manager Howie Roseman never rests. He is never content, wanting to improve this position and wanted to make sure that the defense continued to be a strength for this team. So over the last couple of days, Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh have been added to this team. Just a huge addition. There's really not much more to say for Suh. Just massive for this team. A one-year deal, so locking him in through the rest of the year for more than the minimum, which, considering he's a veteran, even that is impressive this time of year.
You say 30-something, and Ndamukong Suh will turn.
Take a look at this division, the NFC East, because after last season, I'm not sure too many people thought all four teams would be in playoff contention after Week 10, heading into Week 11. Eagles currently lead the division. Giants just a game back. ESPN Analytics says the Cowboys and Eagles currently, they're locks to make the postseason. Giants are up at 81% after being at 16% in the preseason. So let's bring Dan Orlovsky back. I guess that was a little bit more than 6 minutes. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting. Top of the division here. Eagles and Giants still have yet to face off. They face off in Week 14 and Week 18. 14 in Jersey, 18 in Philly. So we're going to have to wait for that. But as of right now, how does this division play out?
Well, Philadelphia's in, and I would actually disagree with the graphic. I think that it's hard to see that the Giants aren't in, given that they're 7-2 right now, given the fact that their schedule is not crazy difficult as we go. And their defense has given up more than 23 points once this season. So I look at Philadelphia being in, and I look at the Giants offensively going. The great thing that Brian Dable and Mike Kafka have done is they never put Daniel Jones in a situation where he gives the ball away. Their defense is awesome. The blitz package that they have out of Wink Martindale. So I just really believe that the Giants, it's hard to see how they fall apart in the back half and not get in, given the way that they're running the football and how good the defense has been. Dallas certainly is in that conversation. They have a massive game this weekend. I think the difference between Philadelphia, who sits at the top, and both New York and Dallas is they have the ability to do whatever they want on offense and be explosive doing it. So you sit there and you go, they're in. Certainly the Giants and the Cowboys are going to have a lot of meaningful games as we get into December. And don't discount Washington, the way that they've played with Taylor Heineke at quarterback. They play harder for him. I would expect him to continue to be their starter.
And at this point, if he's not, that's an issue. If
he should be their starting quarterback. He's earned that role.
He absolutely has. By the way, what a concept when you play to your strengths, Daniel Jones. And look what's happened this season. I know Giants need one win for their most since 2016, just one. And the last time they reached the playoffs, that was 16. 8 of their 9 games this season have been one-score games, right? Really, really close games, but they're getting it done. All right, this is the segment that I know you wait for every single week.
It's not the heavy stuff. The heavy stuff's not coming down for a while, but when it does, we're talking feet of snow. Feet, like 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet if you're in some bad parts of the snow belt there. The Browns are supposed to travel to Buffalo sometime Saturday to play the Bills at 1 o'clock Eastern time, local in Orchard Park, which is in the snow belt, on Sunday. That is kind of sort of a problem, Ian Rapoport, Tom Pelissero. So much so, there's a state of emergency. They're shutting down highways in western New York. How are they going to play a football game there Sunday, Tom?
Well, Andrew, the NFL is currently evaluating whether they can play a football game in Buffalo on Sunday in concert with both clubs, the Bills and the Browns, as well as local authorities, which is commonplace for how the NFL handles any type of weather situation that could impact a game. What we know as of now is the National Weather Service has issued a lake effect snow warning running through 1 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday for southern Erie County. There could be snow accumulation of 1 to 3 feet, according to the National Weather Service. Also, wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. That can make travel virtually impossible. Also, risks of downed tree branches, potential power outages, all of which leaves the league in a holding pattern right now as they evaluate whether they're actually going to be able to proceed with the game as scheduled at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Now, the forecast for game day is actually relatively clear. Maybe windy, but not a lot of snow. The issues is all the other logistical things that go into pulling this game off. Now, if it has to be moved, it would be the venue, not the time, that is likely to change. Detroit would be one possibility of where they could move the game with the Lions not home this weekend. Moving the game back to, let's say, Monday, from what I understand, not a consideration, in large part because the Bills play the Lions in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, just 4 days later.
Right, so they have 2 games in 5 days here, which is nuts for them. Certainly, it's one that we are monitoring. I think the funniest thing I've seen, because there are some parts of the snow belt where they are forecasting up to 6 feet of snow. No joke. Someone tweeted at me last night, Devin Singletary is only 5'7". That might be an issue. All right.
Not funny.
Well,
Very mean.
I'm also around that height, so I laughed, Ian, as are you. Matthew Stafford.
You find it funny.
I do. Yeah. Not funny. Matthew Stafford coming back from the concussion protocol. Let's transition there professionally. Ian, what's his story?
Matthew Stafford is expected to clear the NFL's concussion protocol and play on Sunday, as Coach Sean McVay told reporters yesterday, which is very good news. The fact that the Rams did not have their starting quarterback on Sunday was evident and clear. And if you ever wonder just how valuable Matthew Stafford is to the Rams, I think you got a pretty good indication there on Sunday. John Wolford did his best. Certainly, backup quarterback kind of holding his own is, I'd say, what you want. But the fact that Stafford was a full participant yesterday and is expected to clear is an excellent sign for the Rams in what has become a pretty important game for them this weekend.
Yeah, very important in New Orleans. Also a big game, Tom, for the Cardinals Monday night in Mexico City. What's their quarterback situation?
Muddled as of now, Andrew. Coach Cliff Kingsbury said that both Kyler Murray and Colt McCoy day-to-day because of injuries. The good news, both of them, according to reporters on the scene, were out there at the start for at least the stretching portion of practice today. Murray is dealing with a hamstring injury that kept him out last week. We all saw in the season premiere of Hard Knocks, he was in quite a bit of pain after suffering that injury, and obviously his mobility is a big weapon for him. As for Colt McCoy, he actually got banged up with a knee in the game, came out for a snap, went right back in, was able to finish things off. But they're obviously moving forward here delicately with both players. Again, good news that they were out there at the start of practice. Kingsbury had said on Wednesday he's hopeful one of them will be able to go. If not, the third quarterback on the 53-man roster is Trace McSorley, who has thrown exactly 4 NFL passes and has not made his first NFL start.
But he is a preseason legend. Ian, Justin Jefferson had 193 yards receiving, a career high last week. He also evidently came out of that game with a toe injury.
Well, he either came out of the game with a toe injury or did something at practice, was limited during yesterday's practice with the toe injury, which I think it's safe to say created some pretty real alarm bells last night as we were calling around trying to figure out what this is. It sounds like, from what I understand, Justin Jefferson is going to be okay. Really just a scare, and the fact that, you know, he's become one of the most important players, the fact that he's become one of the most important players in the NFL and for the Vikings, and everything certainly speaks to what has gone on the last couple weeks. Either way, Justin Jefferson expected to be okay after the toe injury.
Okay, Vikings and the Cowboys coming up Sunday in Minnesota. More on that game coming up in a second. Thank you, Ian. Tom, now let's focus on tonight's game.